of the peach state, where the magnolias bloom so late. A child stands alone in fear, wishing someone would hold them near. Through the bridges of Georgia's care, they're reaching out but life ain't fair. Isolation's heavy on their heart, praying for a brand new start. Child protectors on the line, Georgia's foster, let love shine. I see peace, you send them far and wide, across the borders where they divide. Families waiting with open arms to shield them from all worldly harm. Through the bridges of Georgia's care, they're reaching out but life ain't fair. Isolation's heavy on their heart, praying for a brand new start. Child protectors on the line, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Oh, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Though the journey's tough, the road is long, singing out this hopeful song. Every child deserves a chance to find their home, their love, their dance. No more darkness, no more tears, just a future free from fears. With each step they grow so strong, in a place where they belong. Through the bridges of Georgia's care, they're reaching out but life ain't fair. Isolation's heavy on their heart, praying for a brand new start. Child protectors on the line, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Love shine. Oh, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Love shine. Oh, Georgia's foster, let love shine. The journey's tough, the road is long, in this world they'll start to glow. Child protective, hear their plea, in Georgia's arms they will be free. Through the bridges of Georgia's care, they're reaching out but life ain't fair. Isolation's heavy on their heart, praying for a brand new start. Child protectors on the line, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Let love shine. Oh, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Love shine. Oh, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Love shine.
Hello? Danielle,
Hey.
you there?
Yeah.
Hey.
Are you? I am, I think.
Yes.
I don't see me yet. No. It's coming. Got a slow connection here.
Thank you guys for waiting. We appreciate it. I know we said we'd have this down by the third show, but we will have it down after this, I promise.
Right. I don't even see the chat. Do you?
We got
There we
Brenda,
go.
Debbie, and
Got it.
Chris already. Yep.
Awesome. I see it now. Look, it's
Our
my
loyal
connection.
viewers, our
Yes.
dedicated loyal viewers. We love you guys.
Thanks for joining, everyone. How is everyone's week so far? Happy Tuesday. So what's going on in everybody's world?
It feels like
Is
Monday
what?
again. Feels
I
like
know,
Monday.
right? Yes.
All over
This
again.
week. Right. This week is it's very interesting. So anything happened with anybody new? Carrie, we were going to talk about education today, but
which we still can. We still can.
Okay.
My
So
paranoia got in the way, and I overreacted about the school that's observing Colton this week.
well,
But,
in reference to that, how are we gonna referring to education? How would you want to we were going to talk about being?
I think everybody should be aware, first of all, that CPS is more involved in our school districts than in the public school districts,
Tell us
especially
how.
when it comes to special needs.
Yes. Yes.
First of all, they're all mandatory reporters, so that's the obvious. Second, they don't see the whole picture, nor do they ask you first. They just assume and call or whatever. Yes, Brenda, unfortunately, that's still
Wait,
your
she mean
news. I'm sorry.
what?
Her husband's still in
Her?
jail.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
bless
been
your
in jail
heart.
a long minute.
For a CPS involvement or CPS
Related.
issue,
related.
That's not fair. Like
No, it's not.
that's not fair to anybody. They like you guys. Okay.
Just
Thank you.
I just had something pop in my head just because of the holidays and stuff is that we should all have like a Christmas party,
Hmm.
for all of us just to support each other and
Oh
lean
yeah,
on each other a little
definitely.
bit.
That would
Like
be, and you
obviously
know
it'd
what?
be a
That's a good
virtual
idea.
party because we're all not going to be in the same place at the same time, but that would be a little hard to orchestrate in a couple days. But it
Right.
would be cool, if you guys need somebody to lean on or whatever. I know Darren said it almost every show too. That just hit us up, email
Yeah.
us, Facebook, any of us. Me,
We can
Danielle,
definitely
we're home during the day too. We'll talk to you guys.
nine.
I
And
know it's hard
also
to get a
there's,
hold of me by phone, so it's better by
and
Google
then
Voice or
if they can't
Facebook.
get nobody, they can call 988 and talk to somebody 24/7 there. If
Yeah.
they can't get in touch with no one, if and even if that's, just always know, everyone, if you're at that point and you need someone to talk to and there's no one at all that will answer, like, because I know there have been some situations, and like I've had a friend and I wish I would have answered her call. But if you're ever in a situation like that, call 988. Seriously, like there's always someone there to talk to you, even if
And they're good
just
people. They're really not
oh yeah,
like definitely not judgmental in that line of work, but
and
they're good
and
people.
and they're there for support. It's not like they're going to get you and they're there for support and like resources for you, just to get you not to go, because no one deserves, I mean, everybody deserves a chance at life. I mean, and don't think about anything about bad about yourself, because you're a good person. Don't let anybody take that away from you.
Plus,
Don't
don't
ever.
like Tiffany said it great last night. She said, "Don't let them win. You're letting them
Right.
win. Don't do that."
I
Keep
wish I could. The video my son had me make on TikTok and he says, "Be yourself," and he has a phrase, and he come out with it July 1st of this year, and he's like, "Mom," he said, "tell everybody." Well, he told me to make him famous, but he's like, "Mom," he said, "tell everybody to be yourself." He's like, "Don't change for anybody." He said, "Because you know what? At the end of the day, Mom, they don't tell you, they don't take the steps you do. You are yourself, and you make your own decisions." He's like, "So you live your life how you want to." He's like,
That's beautiful,
"Don't."
though.
Yeah, and especially like with his, and he's just that's my hero. Like this boy, he needs, look, he's
He needs a medal
he's
for
on.
that shit.
Yes, he's like, he's gonna be, I think he's gonna be a public, like anything, like speaking in front of, if I can just get him to talk more. Like he
Oh,
talks
we
to me all
will.
day long.
We got you.
He calls
This is what he
everybody
needs.
Danielle.
Have you guys ever seen one of these? Can you see it?
But
This is what Colton talks with an iPad. Okay.
spell it with his words, like spelling it out, right?
No, it's get the screen to come up.
Is that the actual thing that they use for him to
Yeah,
express?
this is what he
Oh
uses.
wow.
You see it?
Okay, so
I'm trying to get it to turn on,
it's,
but it's not
yeah,
operating.
but it's
There it
a
goes.
tablet with a software on it. Is like, how
Yes.
do you tell us how it works?
Okay, so let me see if you can see it. Let me pull it up here. Okay. Do you see the? Oh, it's not going to let me because my background. Let me change my background.
It's good.
Okay. Sorry, just let me change the background real quick.
Is this
Keep
kind of
talking.
like that documentary I was watching when it talked about autistic kids and how they're not, they're just like, some, for so long they were just listening, but they were gaining all the knowledge and soaking it all in, and then through spelling, they call it spelling, and they
Right.
type out and it's a screen with a keyboard, or like what you got, a tablet, and I've noticed these nonverbal, like, Down syndrome, the ones that are medically, like, they're nonverbal, that they express themselves through the
Right.
device. I thought that was
So
pretty cool.
okay. So you see it now?
Yes. Yeah.
The pictures, the
Yeah.
symbols. So
Uh-huh.
those are like I do the like print laminate those the same pictures to make
Okay.
boards for people, like schedule boards or chore boards or
That's cool.
just routines, like the steps to do something. So and you just
Ah,
I don't know what I pushed, but
that's,
that was kind of a dumb one.
does it ever spell? Okay.
And then see how it goes to another page, and
Uh-huh.
then
Oh, so it tells. So that's how he expresses like what he's wanting or what he's trying to get across, like what he's trying to say, but he can't.
So guess what he said today? You'll never guess.
Mango. Who? Oh,
cantaloupe,
I
watermelon,
love it. That's awesome. Mango. That's my favorite.
Oh my god, yeah.
So he
Oh my
but he does it in 3s or 4s. It tap
That
taps.
was like 20. I hit clear.
But he does that, right? So that's like a
Right,
stim.
right.
Is that a stimming?
See? Yep.
Okay.
And then, oh, right, I'm on the wrong side. There's the homepage.
That is
Whoops.
right.
So, and
That is
like Chris,
awesome.
this would be the cards I would send you.
Right.
So,
feel.
and then it goes to the emotion page. See? And then,
That's what's up. That's awesome. So
Excited.
So he uses that, and that will that lead, because I know like is it older, the one they spell out their words, I guess but is
you
that
can
how
do that
they
on here
write out
too.
okay, so they do have both ways. Okay,
that's how Greg does it all the time. I don't ever do it that way. I know the cards.
I wish I would. I mean, that would be cool to learn how to, like, what they're thinking, like how their brain,
you can retell a book. Like,
right?
He can retell a whole book on this.
Wow.
Like, you'll read a book to him, and he'll look at that book and go page by page and say it back to you with the talker, but not with his words.
See, when my son was little, like younger, they had like Hooked on Phonics or whatever, or the
Right.
Rose, or is that it wasn't nothing like, but he did like the tablet, but he was on YouTube a lot, and he expressed himself he expressed himself through YouTube like a good bit, and but he was verbal, but he still got caught up on his, some of what he was trying to say, because he didn't. They explained it to me like his mind was going so fast that it was too overwhelming for him, and it would be too much, So he'd get overwhelmed, and he'd start that's when he showed his outburst, because it was just too meltdown. That's the word. It'd be probably my tantrum.
Stimming is also what they do, and stimming is like when you see Colton like move things like this, like multiple things of multiple. Like, that's why we can't have Q-tips in the house, or a whole bunch of batteries, like AA batteries. I can't buy a big pack of them because they'll be sliding all over the floor.
Well, like stimming, like I'm going to tell you,
That's what stimming is. Stimming is when you're like moving things.
And I'm new to that, because ever since my son's been out at this facility, I was wondering, because that wasn't like when my son was diagnosed and whatnot at 3. This was 2000 and I want to say 7, 8, because he was born. He was 1 to 3. He was normal. He was fine. He didn't have. He was up to par. Like, he was developing with the chart. And then like I said, we laid him down that night, and it could have been anything. I still till this day don't know.
Was his head bigger than normal? Like, the measurement of it?
Yeah. And and also I've noticed also some other things, like with him, his hair is thicker, like, and it's just his thing, because there's and I don't know if anybody has heard of Sanfilippo, which is it gets misdiagnosed as autism or ADHD, but it's actually it's on the spectrum. It's a form of this, and that's why they the autism spectrum, because they're starting to, from my understanding, they're starting to be able to name the certain, and then so that's where Sanfilippo.
There's a certain autism too on the spectrum that's just from watching videos. Like, I can't remember exactly what they call it. I'm sure
Asperger's
or something. No, it's not Asperger's. That's the Brill meltdown one. Asperger's is where they melt down all the time and always have outbursts, and kind of like Tourette's in a different way.
Well, when my son got diagnosed, you know how they referred it, like how they told me it was a mild form of autism. I said,
no, he's high functioning. So your son is high functioning.
Yeah.
And my son is not high functioning. He is severely.
so my son's like, so, but they said mild, and I'm sitting here. You know what came to mind? A Taco Bell mild sauce packet. I swear to God. And
Well,
I'm
that's a
just
good
like,
way to. That's a good
but I didn't.
similarity, though. Really, honestly,
So,
because
because
it's high functioning is where they can function out in the world. They're not as OCD, but they are
oh
to an
yeah,
extreme
like he's
extent.
yes, yep.
Where Colton doesn't do good, like in groups, like big, like I can't take him to the fair, the state fair, or anything like that, or a carnival,
Oh,
or
so big. Does
yeah.
he get excited or does he get like overwhelmed? Like, because
He gets overwhelmed and just wants to go sit in the truck. Like we went to a
see my
graduation party for Greg's grandson, and Colton sat in the truck the whole time, and it was all people he knew.
wow,
The
wow,
scene didn't change. The scene was
oh
different
wow,
because we were a different place instead of
uh-huh.
his sister's house. Because normally
Yeah.
we have family functions at his sister's house in the backyard.
Hmm.
Because she's got a fenced-in yard. It's the only safe place for Colton. So that's why we always have family functions at her house. Because
Wow.
it's a fenced-in yard. We all hang out in the garage, which is heated and all that good stuff. And like her living room is in the garage. So it's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
because like my son, when he go, if he went to a place like a fair or something, he would actually be excited, and it's like all the lights and stuff. And now it all depend on the. I mean, it's he's like kind of like an empath. It's like he could tell like the vibes around him. Like he can be
Right.
around a group of people, but it's all depending on the environment. That's
You know
I
that
mean,
I
it's
base who I hang out with anymore on if Colton likes them or not. Like my dog, if my dog's
right.
cool with them, because my dog's just a grumpy old
Hmm.
man, our old dog, you know.
Hmm.
So it's if Bammer likes him and if Colton likes him, then I'm
Right.
cool with that person. Like I'll
And
trust him, I'll believe in him and help him, whatever. But if my kid shies away from you and has nothing to do with you, he doesn't
then
pick on
you're
you or harass you in some funny way, then I'm
right.
good. Get away from me. You can just
Because
move on.
if they're autistic like that, my son's the same way. If he's not like giving you
Danielle,
a hard time very much, huh?
sound your
Oh,
headphones.
oh, giving you a hard time, my son.
Oh,
Is that better?
yep, perfect,
Okay.
perfect.
If my son is not giving you a hard time, it's something like he's reading something like
Right.
he don't and like with these kids that are in these facilities, okay, they don't get to be introduced to the outside world. Like they once they're in, like my son, he's been in the most he has connected with the outside world is a van ride. That's all. So for my
Like the Dusty
son to,
Roll or something.
yeah, for him to go from being a social butterfly, do I?
Which is rare in autistic kids. Very
Right,
rare.
right. And as long as he was around someone that he was close with and had that like my nanny or my mom, he would be a
Mhm.
social butterfly. Like and he was. It's like it would, because he had somebody comfortable. It's not like, and he,
Right.
we always referred, because we were, when he got diagnosed with autism, we were newly introduced to, like, it was a whole new world, a whole new thing back in like 2005, 2007, and it was still being introduced in these, like, with these kids. But there was so many of them that were diagnosed with this, but they were still trying to figure out like what, and it started when from my understanding and my experience, like, because I have a cousin that is older than my son, that I think he was born in '01 or '02, and he is nonverbal, and
Mhm.
he's very and he can't express himself. And it's been, so just imagine a decade of that and not knowing how to or what. And but to now he's a young adult, he's 23, 24, and he's in a group home. But I mean, and I don't agree with that. I
Sad.
think he should be at home with family, but that was by her, my aunt's choice. That was her choice. I mean, and that's what another thing that gets me is, how can these parents just give their kid to the state?
I
I
watched a
mean,
video the other day about this grown autistic child that completely destroyed his parents' house.
yeah,
And I mean, tore
I
drywall down
I
and
believe it,
exposed the insulation. And I mean, in every room, every wall was destroyed.
because
Um,
he's not being understood, and that's what
you guys, my
happened.
house is 2 years old, and I have 5 holes in my wall from
Yeah,
Colton.
is
Five.
he and we I've always with
And I always try to
especially
block him from when he's hitting his head. I try to block him. And mostly he does it on his knee. He'll hit his knee shin.
Does he act out when he's not heard or when he's not understood? Like he's trying to say, like, get something out to you and you don't understand him, and that's his way. And finally he just says, because he's just fed up with it.
Some of it is me raising my voice. They don't do well with it when you raise your voice.
Right. That is true.
And I don't do well with not raising my voice because I'm loud. Obviously, look, I'm loud on here. It's just me. But I think he's used to that part. It's just when I raise it from my normal loud. And when he's frustrated with something, like something's not going together right, or something breaks, or my phone won't turn on. Like forever, he didn't know how to turn my phone on. Greg's phone, he keeps locking it up on the safe mode, on the black screen. So he gets frustrated with that, and he'll like tap the heck out of the screen, and then he knows I'm talking about him. You know, so
I heard. Like they can hear us. They understand us. They understand.
Yeah,
us. They listen
every word I say. That's why he finds everything. That's why he finds everything that we hide when he's not even in the room to hide it, because he hears us talking about. That's a good spot to hide something from him.
Right. It took me. It was, and me watching this documentary the other day. I was like, they're like, the nonverbal ones. All they can do is listen, and to think a whole decade goes by, and I'm like, man, my son. I said, and now he's just the way he talks. It's like does he even have autism? Like, I know he's got the ADHD part of it because he don't. I mean, 86,000 steps in a day. My goodness,
I could walk over that.
and I mean, like, you could tell what days are better than others, like, of his pacing, because if it was rainy and he was out of school, oh my god, like every corner of the house, like, and like my mom ended up with a bigger house, because I was like, well, Mom, did you get that for just because his legs got bigger? Like,
sorry, Danielle. I just seen a comment that Brenda put up here. She said, did you hear about angel man syndrome? No. What is that?
No.
And I like that, not mild, spicy. Yeah, that's my kid, spicy, definitely.
Right. Because I can't.
Yeah, and that's how Colton was taken from me. That would be like the most traumatic thing. I mean, the other day, Greg snuck out the back door to go to his buddy's house, because usually Colton goes with him when he goes there to his Uncle Den's.
Yeah.
So he snuck out the back door, and all Colton seen out the window was the car go down the street, him in front of the house, Greg in front of the house.
How'd that go?
And I hadn't said anything, so I think he thought both of us were in the car. He bolted, grabbed his flapper and these little rubber thread holder things I've got that he's been playing with lately. And he ran out the door with no shoes on, and it was icy. It was raining, and it was like rain. And he ran down the street right next to the car. And keep in mind, we live on dirt roads, okay, on gravel. And he did not care about the rocks he was running on. Right. Yeah, he never does. He never wears shoes.
Right.
Yeah. And his feet are still baby soft. It's weird.
My son was the same way. I'm like, boy, how do you?
He ran next to the car and thought it was. I think he thought I was in the car or whatever. But he's running next to the car, and Greg's like trying to stop, but he can't because he's on ice, and it's downhill. And so he never like got in front of the car like to stop Greg or anything. He was just next to it. And when I walked out the porch, I said, "Colton," really loud, and he stopped dead in his tracks, started running back up the hill. So I really think he thought both of us were in the car, like we were both sneaking away, like running away from him or something, leaving him by himself.
And he was probably, he didn't want to be alone.
But he was still upset his dad was gone, but he came right back. Right. Yeah, he's definitely not a kid you can leave home alone.
He was just
ever. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do that.
Well, like,
but that's what service dogs.
That's fine. Like, I don't. And like my son, and when all this first started with CPS and them removing him or getting him, that picture of him where he's there, but he's not there. He's in there, but he was traumatized. He was like literally, I mean, taken from the only home he's ever known and the only people he's ever known, and not told nothing. And when you just said that, I'm like, and I'm just sitting here thinking, what was really going through his mind? Because
hearing all these conversations when he's in foster care or group homes, hearing all these people have conversations that they think he's not listening to, because they'll act like you're not even in the room and be talking about you. I've noticed that with Colton. That people do that all the time with him.
My
His
son will
teachers,
sit there
his
at this
parents,
place.
all the people that shouldn't.
My son
They do that.
watches everything. He don't talk much out there. He does, but he does. I think he's about the only one that is verbal. Which he
Right.
if going to a facility like that, he's never been to a place like that. Never in his life, ever. And
Well, to be
so
honest, that was probably better. I think it was probably better for him to be in a facility than it was a foster home, to be honest with you.
either
I don't
or,
know.
he was
I'm sure you
4
don't feel that
states
way.
away from home. Either way, he could have been with family and lived. I mean, this could be the whole fact of him being in their period is it sucks because he was taken from the state that he lives in, and then also making it hard like with he had no like we have to. We should be able to walk out our back door, or not literally walk out my back door and be there, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I should be able to drive in my state to see my son if this was, but the fact of they got him, they took him, and like with nothing said to me at all. I mean, so not only am I my son's lost as well. He had no family, nobody's telling him nothing. He don't understand. Right. And where's his papa? Where's his mama? Where's his mima? His mima was the one that went to heaven. She right. was, and he was, because he was there that night. And so for him to, the family, and that's what I don't get. My family should have known better. My dad especially. And I'm, but that's a story for another day, but
your dad doesn't know how to communicate. He didn't know how to communicate nor the steps to take. You know what I mean?
Dad was really feel like my dad just lost his best friend, and they both were at the home. So I do understand my father to a point, but now, Dad, it's been 2 years. Come on, like you can talk to me.
Danielle, hold up.
No,
Danielle,
what?
Hold up. Spanny, which one?
Here.
Both of us or just one of us? Spanny said we're lagging bad. I know. I was thinking it was me too. My internet's been screwing up today. Well, T-Mobile is not the best, you guys. I know Tiffany swears by T-Mobile, but I don't. Not in my area.
I know in my area, Xfinity and T-Mobile and AT&T Verizon have been having major lagging issues. So they're working on the network, but
yeah.
Well, that too, but to lag, I gotta have, but that was.
But Debbie, he is normal. Debbie said they think my grandson is normal when he's not. Really.
Who?
He is normal. He's reacting to his environment.
Yeah.
They just don't realize that what they do in changing these environments for these young kids, especially toddler age, like when they're like soaking all that everything in, they're sponges.
My son, when this happened, my son was driving cars. He knew how to drive.
Right.
Now, when all this happened, his IQ was 42. 42. Wow. So the boy went they're like, well, he don't talk, and so here they go, automatically without no knowledge of this child at all. Okay, no prior history. They had no information. Like, really, was my son considered an orphan at that? I mean, that's my impression. No information. You don't know nothing about this child, but you're not gonna make the search to find someone that does. I mean, that right there.
No, because they need immediate placement. Immediate placement would have put him like in a shelter, or I would think shelter first, a youth shelter. Well, that's how it always works for me when I first would go into a placement.
The aunt that did this, they placed him with her for 2 months, and she don't know how to, and that's where he really went through a lot. And I didn't know this. Like they
actually,
I mean, look, and I was lost. I mean, nobody tell me nothing, and it was out to be like I abandoned my kid. When no.
Thank God he didn't realize that. Thank God.
I know. Thank God. And I'm going to be honest with everybody. I believe the only reason I am still able to be around, was able to be around my son, because as much as I was being done and in the dark about things, I think my son saved that. I swear. I promise. Because they didn't know nothing about him, and I'm trying to find him, and I think my son did, because when I came into the picture finally, after when I popped, they were trying to get me out of the picture, to where, okay, well, here's mom, all right, well, let's, because they have to go with what they were told or whatnot. Like, okay, well, mom supposedly abandoned him. No, I never, no. But my son, I can almost promise you, was the one, and because I know they asked him. It was on it was said, it was mentioned a couple times, and I know, if it wasn't for my boy, yeah. And if it wasn't for him, because I mean, they were, I know they were wanting me out of the picture altogether, period.
Right.
Like, all because, and it's about the funds. It's, I mean, they banked off my son. And that's why they're probably still having him till the end of the month, I bet. Like, it's just.
And if you guys are wondering, like, about like Danielle's situation, her son being of age, an adult, he was also with special needs, talked into signing the voluntary agreement to stay under the state until he's
extended foster care, right? And like, he did have a guardian ad litem supposedly under when he's a minor, but now that he's an adult, nobody, like,
what? All of a sudden, they don't give you a gal when you're what? I don't understand that.
No. And then I don't know if anybody's ever heard about ICPC, where when you're dealing with two states and they cross the state line with pretty much trafficking,
it's interstate contact.
Yep. Well, guess what? They told me that my son's 19. They don't have nothing to do with that. So wait a minute. Whoa. Why?
It's just like the prison system. When you get paroled out of prison and you want to go to a different state than what your charges were originally
interstate compact. And exactly.
That's what it's called. And it's exactly the same thing CPS uses.
Exactly.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that just funny right there? The prison system uses interstate compact.
The facilities are just like that.
Right. They're all connected. Every bit of it.
They say, well, they're not detained. Yes, they are. The kid, when they took my son in, there's a question that says detained, yes or no, and they said yes. I said, so right there, he was arrested right there. Boom, he was taken into custody right there. The same words are being used as if you were committed a crime and being arrested for something. You were taken into custody. Well,
did you watch Tiffany and Darren's show last night? Where Tiffany was talking about how they can assume custody. I don't hope I say this right. I hope I say it like she did. If not, you guys watched last night, Tiffany and Punisher show. They can maybe Spanny, if she's still in the chat, she can help me. They can assume custody, like to transport from A to B, like a temporary custody, like a protection or a guardianship to transport
so like
from A to B.
Okay, so what if there's say if they're doing a removal or whatnot, and the child is not in imminent danger, or is it up to the caseworker to decide right then and there what they're going to do? Like, and
to assume custody? Okay, the way I interpreted what Tiffany said was that they initially, before they have a court order, assume custody. They take it from point A to point
custody.
B.
Okay.
Right. Which is an ass out of you and me, So, just saying.
Right.
Anytime we use the word assume, it always applies.
Right.
But, it'll be an ass out of you and me, and they assume custody to go from point A to point B, which I would assume would be foster care or a youth shelter, or a hotel with the kid, or whatever the case may be. But
a hotel with the kid,
they're responsible for that child. So, like safety purposes, medical purposes, blah blah blah.
Right.
And to protect is the way I see it.
Because
and that if anything happened, they'd be held liable. If that makes sense. So, but to gain custody, or
they have to go get a court order.
How did you say that?
They have to, because court order. There was 2 months with my son from the time it first started. Like he was not. That's what's weird. But he was not in the custody of CPS. Like, that's what's crazy. Who placed him with this aunt? Wait a minute, because but there was a guardianship order in place. They should have had, if there was what it is how an anonymous caller can call and say something about you, and that's how this first started. There was a call made in, and of course it was my aunt. She called in and said that that my son was without she didn't know where the parents were, which the biological parents, and he didn't have a caregiver. What?
And he was 18 at the time, right? Like 17 or 18?
17. Yes, he was almost 8 months away from being 18.
Oh my
And
gosh. 8 months.
so yeah, and the crazy thing is she knew what she was doing. She knew, and because if it was abuse or
Well, that's
neglect,
voluntary. That's voluntary placement. Is
but
what
the
that
thing
is.
is,
That is.
how can they do that when she was not nowhere on his guardianship paperwork, and not even as a standby
What
or
did your mom's
anything?
will say? What did
My
your
mom didn't
mom's
have
will
to
say?
go. It was between me and my mother. I should have got my son. She interfered with that for a reason.
Your
Because,
volume again. Your
oh, here
gargle.
we go. Hold on. I'm gonna be Hulk today. I hope my son likes Hulk. Can you hear me now? I'm just kidding. Every time my son says that to me on the video visits, and I'm like, I gotta be Hulk. I gotta fix it.
That's funny.
So I know he went from Cars, Little Lightning McQueen, to now he likes Hulk. I'm like, okay, he's grown.
Colton likes Mater.
I gotta teach. Yeah. Oh yeah. I always gotta love
My
it.
middle son likes Lightning McQueen, and Colton likes Mater, of course.
Oh yeah.
The
My
redneck.
son. I still have to think. I have to remind myself. My son is an adult now. He's not a baby. He's not an adult. So I have to, because he's gonna hold
But
me to that.
socially,
Mom, I'm
he's
an adult.
probably at a lower level. He's probably like my son's level. I mean,
Um,
age level. I don't mean like Colton
he
is like at a 3-year-old level
Yeah,
socially.
he's supposed to be graduating this year, but he's already missed half the school year, and I don't think it's right that they have him in that facility when he's used to going to a public school, and that's why he was able to be, he's verbal, and because he did get the involvement and interaction with these other students and people. He was interacted with the outside world. He was not, these kids that are in these facilities. Think about it. What would they act like? And when they go on a van ride and they see something really exciting, like where my son, the ferry, like, oh my gosh, they don't, they don't, and just,
Teachers have taken my
it
son
breaks
on
my
field
heart.
trips to a football arena game, a baseball game, a basketball game, and what was the other one? Oh, the zoo. We went to the zoo.
Mhm.
But there, we just kind of stuck to ourselves. Like we didn't go with a group. The teacher and the
Right,
para walked with me and him. I had him in a
right,
wagon because it's easier to contain him in a wagon than
right.
chasing him, holding him, and he'll stay
So
in the
it's
wagon because he's getting pulled
and
around.
they and
Um,
when they go on these field trips, they try to get the parents to be involved, because the parent, who knows best for the
not
kid?
always,
The parents.
not always,
They try. Well, that's true too.
not always. When they went to the arena game,
Uh huh.
was it? Yeah, arena football and the basketball game. I didn't go to either. But I
No.
happened to be downtown. That's where the game was at. Was downtown Des Moines, and I
Uh huh.
happened to be taking my mom to the hospital right next to the arena. Totally forgot about Colton going to that field trip that day.
Oh no.
And yeah, and so when I pulled out of the hospital, I pulled right next to the bus.
Oh
But
wow.
he wasn't on the bus with his class. He was in the van that he normally rides to school in.
Uh huh.
I don't want to call it the short bus or that or by any means, but it kind of fits that
The special
description. Like,
the
yeah,
special
the
needs
van or
bus.
whatever.
We always,
Right.
well, yeah. I know what you're saying.
Listen, when I was a kid, we called it the short bus. I'm just gonna be real
That's
about
what
it.
we
Not
called
that
it, the
I made fun of
Twinkie.
any
Either
kids
way.
that were like that because I was always the one helping them. I was always
Yep.
their aides in class. You know, like the person that helped them get around or do their work or
Uh
whatever. I
huh.
was always that person.
Well,
But
my brothers even were put. They would ride that bus, and I would ride with them, even though I was
right,
like they were in like just a slower. It wasn't like a small class, but they were
it's lower
considered
paced.
like, yes, and they
Right,
would,
it's
and I'm like,
individualized.
but yeah, and then but we rode as a family, because my youngest brother was the one that had the slow. So me and my brother that I have with me now,
That's
we would,
cool.
yeah, and I thought, and why don't they do that now in CPS? Why don't they keep families together? Like, um,
You know, we keep talking about this like community thing, how the community would handle different situations with
you would think.
parents and yeah, I mean, like bad parents that were abusing their kids, like the neighborhood would handle it. We're
Oh, it
so
was
right,
back.
guys. When we were growing up, it was really like that. Like when they were talking
It
about
was.
riding their big wheels underneath the road and stuff through the
Uh-huh.
sewers, we all did that. That's how we all crossed the road.
Everybody looked out for each other's kids. Like, we all looked out. Like I know, growing up, we didn't have to worry about getting in like anything of any bad neighbors, because everybody came together. Like, if all the kids were outside, okay, we would be riding our bikes. And that's why, like, our parents would, lock us out of not literally lock us out of the house, but the street lights came on. That was our cue to get our butts back home. I mean, because that's how trustworthy and how cool it was back when we were growing up.
Right.
So
there was like a point, like when my parents got a divorce, it was crazy in my neighborhood. Like they were fighting. My mom thought she was running everything and kicked my dad out, and everybody felt sorry for my dad. And of course I acted up. I acted out.
yeah.
I was adopted, and I felt like I was part of the divorce, like a piece of property, like the house was. I thought I was equal to the house. That's what I
Because
thought.
they
I
were
thought I was high
fighting.
up on the value scale, but it
And
was crazy.
so a divorce
So
does affect the child as well. Like, and they're
absolutely it does. But the whole neighborhood pulled together when I was going through that, and I had these guys that lived next door to me. They were like 10 years older than me, and I always called them my brothers because I never had a brother or sister growing up. So those are my brothers, were my next door neighbors. There was three of them,
I
and
loved
the
when
two
there were people
youngest
in my
ones were the
neighborhood like
ones I was
that.
closest. Yeah, and they like would come over and help me with my homework. Like when my parents were fighting, they would just like
Yep.
swoop in, like
Uh,
knock on my bedroom window and be like, "Come outside and come sit on the porch with me, and let's do your homework." When they were
yep.
fighting, you know what I
And
mean? Like even that cool.
and what's cool is like maybe and we think about it because maybe their parents are like, hey, can you go, and then you build that relationship with them, that trust, because
Right.
maybe because I mean but now this day and age things are different a lot.
Right.
Everybody's wanting to be like us. We're behind a screen, a device, something. Back when
This is difficult for me. I think this is difficult. I think this is difficult to communicate.
it
It's
is,
difficult to get used to that this is how the world is now
what's going
because
to
I'm not
happen
used to
is it.
this.
Well, like I should be mad at myself because I told myself I'm not going to be dependent on a box to tell me what I'm going to do or how my day is going to go, or
Right.
and that's when technology first started really getting out there, and that's when they come out with the phone that you used to you pull the antenna out, like, no, I mean, but now
Like
look at,
satellite phones.
right, and then now it's like, what's going to happen if, because we're so dependent on it nowadays in this day and age, and our kids are as well. Like, I mean, I don't, you don't go through a neighborhood and see kids out much anymore. Never.
No. My
And
son, you do. My son's
oh
always
yeah,
outside.
look,
Never. Like I'm
my
surprised
son
he's not today because it's just cloudy out. It's not cold.
my son does
Leave
not
it
like
on the
being
porch,
indoors.
Colton. Sorry.
That's why he paces. He
Amazon.
paces because he does
Amazon just
not.
showed up.
Oh,
Brenda, I'm 46 and Danielle is young.
40. I'm 40.
Right.
Yep. As a 40. I forgot what I was gonna say now. Oh boy, here we go. That's my freebie. Okay.
No,
So,
we
but
don't count.
these kids, like,
Brenda says she's 59.
we're
My
always,
old man
hey
is
Tammy, how
56.
are you?
Yes. How old's Greg? I'm 46. Yeah, 66. Oh my God, I can't believe I couldn't think of that. So Greg is 66. And I'm telling you, like the age difference between us, normally you can't tell the age difference. Like we're pretty much on the same page all the time.
I was
As
always
far as like
taught
likes,
age is
dislikes,
just a number.
personality. Right. It's just a number, but sometimes you can really tell.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
but
right.
even things that he references as a joke or a saying or whatever, I know them all. I mean, and not from him, not just from being with him for 24 or 5 years, but just from like
Just
either I've got an old soul or he's got a young, I don't know. Everyone's always says I have an old soul. But
like, what was it I seen on? I was scrolling through. I think it was TikTok, and I'm like, my anxiety every time I say TikTok goes up because I'm like, what am I gonna do after the TikTok ban? Like, I mean, where am I?
I
Because
just really think it's going to get
and
banned. Come on, it's not going to get banned. Trump's going to buy it or something.
I know, but
Debbie says she's
I should
58.
be. Look, that is not. That's shouldn't be. I shouldn't be acting like that though. That's bad. That's not good. Like, I should
Brenda,
not be having anxiety. It's like, oh, what?
did
What
you
did she
just see
say?
Brenda said her oldest son is 40 and her youngest is
Hi,
19.
Tammy.
My oldest is 32. Wait, yeah, 32 or 33, almost 33. And Brenda says, yes, you
Hi,
do carry
Tammy.
old soul. Thank you. I appreciate that because I feel like an old soul is way better than a new soul.
Yeah,
How people
I'd
are
rather.
nowadays.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm good with the
There's no
millennium talk.
morals. There's no morals. Like,
Right.
no appreciation like that. I mean, when I had to work
Yes,
for what,
Linda.
if I wanted something, I had to work for it or earn it.
Yes.
Not really
There
earn
you
it, but
go. Not be entitled.
because
Like, we're definitely not part of the entitlement club around here
right,
at all, if you
because
guys
my
can't tell.
mom, told us it had to teach me responsibility. I had to learn to be responsible
Right.
because, and now that I'm, I just had a thought. You know what? I was talking about, why don't they teach these kids life skills in school to get them prepared for life when they graduate? Like
You, Tammy.
because you know how we have
I think that
home
I think
ed
like
and
this school that Colton might go to, this special school or whatever.
uh,
I think that they'll teach them things like that. They
well,
they leave that up to the parents, but the parents don't do it
and our
anymore.
parents,
Like with Colton,
right. That's what I was. That's yeah. Because like my mom, we would have. I got a job. I had to get a job. Kids these days, they don't get jobs at early ages anymore. No, like
you know what Greg says to us if we're being lazy around here? Like me and my
uh,
friends, if they're living here or staying here, whatever. He's like, get up and be
uh,
somebody as he's walking out the door to
yeah,
go to work every day.
that's yeah.
Because he
Our
always goes to work no matter what. Sick
right.
or not sick, he goes. If
That's yes.
the
My
first
uncle
year that he worked at this job and had 2 weeks vacation, guess how many days he used?
probably zero or
Three.
one. Oh,
Three, three
see,
to go deer hunting, and that killed him. That
it's
absolutely
funny.
killed him because the third day they already had their deer. They had their tags filled, so he didn't
My
have anything to
uncle
do
was
the third day,
my
and it killed
uncle's
him to be
going. He
lazy.
wants. Yeah, he's like they were dedicated. Like because they knew that they had a family to take care of, and that was that was their first main. That was their main priority. Like they were going to. Now it's a total like what is it's like did a total. I mean, I'm not going to say 360 because you'd be back where you started at, but
No,
it's like
right.
180. Like why what happened? Where did it go? Where did it go south? Where did it go sideways? What happened?
Funny.
Like because
Like
and then money. It's all about
my 26-year-old and my 19-year-old have very good work ethic. I will give them props for that, and my daughter also, she does too. And like right now, she's trying to go to school, which is good because
like
that's how can knowledge not better you? You know,
my kid. Yeah, mine. My youngest. I mean, I
Colton,
just
I
hope
worry about.
I
Colton,
my
yeah,
son
Colton.
is
No, he can't even
he
pick up his
has
trash. Like he's got
that.
popcorn bags. Like
Oh no,
just from yesterday,
my
that's supposed to be
daughter's
his
like
chore every
that.
day to throw his trash away. And
Oh, my
yeah, like you were
daughter.
showing me earlier about Daryl, and I was clowning about
Yes.
that's what I do to Greg's room. Trash it.
Uh
Well, Greg says I don't know where the trash can is either ever, but I just like messing with him, you guys. I just leave my
Right.
stuff on his desk because it's funny because he gets all mad and huffy and like a princess. And
Because when they do it,
but
it's like
Colton does it. Colton does it and doesn't even realize that that goes in the
he,
trash. That popcorn bag
yeah,
when you're done with the popcorn goes in the
and
freaking trash.
it's
He just
it's
drops it.
our when we were young watching cartoons, right? And you know how they used
Mhm.
to say like the future, like what was that? What was that Disney movie? It was but it was about the Meet the Robinsons, I think it was called. And then isn't that where
Yeah,
they
that
went
was
into the
like,
future? And
yep.
and they said, and I do remember because I watched that when I was younger, that they were like, yeah, the future is going to be lazy and look at us, like I
Look
mean,
at
and then
Wally.
people
You know the
right
movie Wally?
there's the other
Because
Wally.
Disney is a
That's
preview to
there you
everything.
go. Yes,
Disney is a
like it.
preview to absolutely everything.
I mean,
Have you seen
that,
Wild Robot yet?
no, and I'm kind of afraid
That's
to
the
because of
newest Disney movie, I believe, besides Moana. But it is. I just bought it for Colton like a week ago to get him to lay down and take a nap with me to watch it, and
we're
he wouldn't watch
like
it. But it's
like
about
what
this
we watched
robot
from
that's an assistant,
really.
and it does.
Oh,
Yeah, and
that's
it
what
got sent
someone.
out, and the shipment got dropped or whatever in the wilderness of the
Oh,
robots, and this is the only robot that like survived the crash or whatever.
uh-huh.
And it comes to life, and it's like looking for a task. It's just a task manager or a task
Wow,
doer or completer or
really?
whatever, and it just wants a
Wow.
task. So it lands
Oh,
on a bird nest, kills the mama bird, and I can't
and
remember
this
what kind
is
of birds they are, and one egg survives, and it's a runt
ah.
when it is born.
Is this like a
So the robot,
cartoon, like an anime, or is it
yeah,
like a
yeah, it's
movie?
Disney.
Okay,
No, it's Disney. It's Pixar,
okay,
Disney, whatever, DreamWorks.
okay.
And so the robot is in the wilderness. It has this egg that hatches to a duck or bird or whatever. A Gosling. That's what it was, a Gosling.
Gosling.
And yeah, and Gosling's imprint on the first species or living, breathing that they see, animal or person, whatever, and it's seen the robot and thought the robot was his mom.
Sorry.
So the possum, who's got like 10 kids crawling all over her as she's walking down the little path, tells the robot, "You're his mom." And the robot says, "So how do I be a mom? How do I complete this task?" And the possum's like, "None of us know. We just wing it. You just go with it. You know, you go with the flow."
Right.
And it was really cool how they said it or whatever, but not going with the flow and just we wing it. There's no manual to it. But he had to complete the task, teaching the Gosling to eat, swim, and fly.
Survival. So he had to learn how to survive, and because there was no like us, there's no instruction manual. It's not like we can take our life and go to Walmart and be like, "Hey, can I get a refund or can I exchange it?" No, like we had.
You know what's funny is since I've been sick, I kind of did this a little bit before I got sick. I don't know if I had an intuition that I was getting sick or whatever, but I started making a manual for Colton. Like if I got in a car wreck and something happened to me, so whoever would take over for me would know what Colton was eating at that time, what he likes to watch, what he does with his toys that people don't understand.
And that's a good idea, because I wish that when my son was diagnosed and like, I wish we started doing something like me, my mom, and my nanny, because now
you should probably do that. Call that place and ask what kind of foods he's eating, because he probably goes through phases. That's what Colton does, goes through phases.
Everything that they've learned with him, what came through, like when he first was out there, I had to guide them, like tell them what, like they were doing certain things this way. I said, "No, you can't do that." I said, that's why. And I'm telling you, once I like, and I had to, and you know, that hurt being his mom and having to tell them how to interact with my child, and why can't you just bring him home, give him, that's my baby. Why do I?
You don't even know what you for him or what he wants or what he likes or what he needs.
Like you're sitting there telling me, right? I don't know how to take care of my own child, but I'm telling you. Why don't I mean? Right. And a lot of people don't think about it like that, and I'm glad we brought that up, because why would I have to tell them what if I'm? But you're doing the same thing that I do at home with my child out there 4 states away, and I'm having to tell you while I sit here alone fighting for my son and wondering what's going on. Like what did I do so wrong? Why can't I be that mom that I for one, I have every right to be. For two, that is my baby. Right. Like I created that boy, you know, like that's my flesh and blood. Like no, but I'm gonna have to tell you, like what do you, and I even asked that question, what is it, how am I supposed to feel when you have to call me and question me about my own child, but yet you're coming at me with these abuse and whatever you, but I have to tell you, explain to you, right? I have to explain to you how to have like interact with my child, or what you're doing wrong. Why that's like that's what I thought you were. Did you get any training? Like what did you know? And they don't ever,
did you see what Brenda just said to you? Did you see what Brenda just said?
I didn't.
She said you didn't do anything wrong, Danielle, and you didn't. And she said I think about it, and I wish somebody would have asked me questions when foster people took them, because they had no idea what my child's needs were. And you guys know, like my recent case that I just caught, my open case, whatever.
Yeah.
When the investigator came here and she got out of her truck, and I said, "You better have, if you're here to remove my kid, first of all, you better have a goddamn court order. Second of all, I'm only talking to you because you better have 10 people capable of taking care of him, because it's going to take 10 people to do it without me."
Right.
And the only reason I'm going to talk to you at all is to tell you how severely autistic my son is and what his needs are. So maybe you'll rethink removing him right away, for me sleeping in like any person in this world does when they're burnt out because the school wants to change things around.
Right.
You know?
But you know, and that's like with my son, where he's at. like when you say burnout, well, this is what goes through my head when they're burnt out on dealing with these kids. What do they do to them? They all these psychotropic meds. I've got. I mean, why? When my son's never, when he's in my care or my family's, he's never been given all these meds, and he's been given way too many. And like, do you really think I enjoy talking to my son on the phone? And he sounds like he's drunk? No. But yet I'm supposed to tell you how to take care of my son. Like, just to let people know, I do have all this recorded for future reference because it will be exposed. Thank you. I had to put that out there. Sorry.
You guys, Alex wants to be a superstar, right? Alex, right? Because I wanted to say Albizi.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we were talking about that last night.
He's AKA Albizi. Yeah. So you guys, you can reference him either name, but he prefers Albizi. And he wants to be a movie star. He wants to be a star, and he is totally cheerleading his mom on with helping people and helping parents in this situation. And he even wants to bring half them kids home with him that he's in that place with, which is incredible for an autistic kid to connect like that.
So he's going to put him in his pocket and bring him home. Yep.
Listen, that is so much empathy. For an autistic child to show any sort of empathy, even a fraction of empathy, is amazing. So for him to do what he's doing is so incredible, Danielle. I mean, that is the song that y'all hear. He's a hero. Go ahead. Sure.
Yes, he's a hero. Look, that boy is my hero, and he's special. He's got a good, for him to go through what he's gone through in his life, like with the two relatives he was close to, and then like his best friend. My biggest thing was I was afraid of how he was going to handle my nanny when it was time for, because that's how close. My son wouldn't be who he is today if it was not for that my nanny. She is the one that, I mean, when I was having him, she's like trying to catch a football. Come on, boy, like that way, because my papa said, he said, Nanny, I can't hang on anymore. He said, take care of that boy. And my nanny, and it gave her more years she lived, my papa passed in 2005 and she passed in 2018. So and I do believe that my boy gave her a longer, you know what I'm saying? She lived longer, and then my son learned how to be himself, who he is, because she had the passion, like she had the patience. Because I tell you, I had to learn from her because I hit the floor when he went back to baby mode. I didn't know what to do. I was shocked, but it's like instantly she knew what to do. She jumped right in and bang, whoa! Like, how did you do that? I know you had 7 kids, but like how? Because I freaked out. She held him and that's the kind. And then my mother was, and she was the same way. And just how did you? And I had to learn. My nanny taught me a lot, because with an autistic child that don't have no idea what and I don't have no idea. Like, he was talking the night before and told me he loved me in a full sentence, but now I know my sound sucks.
Here we go. All right, I didn't know if you got it wrong.
And maybe it'll work.
Good job.
Just kidding.
You're just garbled. I mean, we can still hear the words you're saying. It's just garbled.
It's got to be the headset. And I love Beats, but Beats, you got to do these connections better, buddy. Like, y'all gonna need these little connections. Otherwise, I got to just up it and get a wireless one.
JBL's better.
Yeah.
You guys want to know how I got my JBL headphones? Marlboro points. I'm not gonna be able to do that no more.
These were given to me by the neighborhood kid. He wanted to retire them, he said, because he was going wireless. I said, thank you. And that's what's cool. I guess they felt sorry for me, because I don't know. Or they were just tired of hearing me yelling on my computer. I don't know. I don't know.
That was probably, I'm going with that one. I'm going with choice number 3, please. It's all C.
Right. And then
it's either all the above or C.
right? And
It's rarely A.
but like what I was saying, like earlier, what I was saying was this: the song that is introduced at the beginning of the show. I wrote the words to that, and I created that, and it started out as a poem because of what I have seen and experienced, and the unseen and the unheard of, and it was called Georgia's Hidden Scarlet Letter because of the hidden things that they're keeping from the public in these foster care facilities, or let alone just foster care period. And that song was wrote like by I wrote that poem because there's so much hidden, because these kids are in these facilities, or in these group homes, or in these foster homes, and they're not, and once they're in there, you don't hear nothing. Right. And that's what I've experienced here and that's why I called it Georgia's Hidden Scarlet Letter, because it was the stigma of the Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. I mean, the hidden things, the shame, and then but when you get when it's exposed to the public or whatnot, you're automatically labeled like an unfit parent, or you're automatically seen as something that you was not to be dealing with.
But wear that shit as a badge of honor. Wear it as now I get to expose you. Now I get to show everybody what you're all about. Not you as a parent being a bad parent, because it's not you. No matter what they say about you, no matter what reports say, no matter what allegations are, if you're not doing it, then speak it out. Say it.
Right. Don't be afraid.
Right. Don't do that. Oh, I saw it. I seen it, so I have to say something. Don't be them people. Like, I had somebody follow us out of Walmart one time and got our license plate because Colton, it was the summertime, because Colton had bug bites on his leg because he won't come inside when it's dark or whatever. So he had mosquito bites. And it wasn't like a lot. It was like maybe 5 or under between the 2 legs. and we're talking about this kid that walks around barefoot. And through the whole store, we were clowning, all 3 of us, me, him, and Greg. And we were laughing. We were having fun. We were like messing with, testing everything out, in the toy aisle. We were in the clearance aisle going crazy. And we don't normally act like that in stores. But we were having a good time, and it's like nobody was around us. We thought we were in there all by ourselves. I swear.
You're in your own little social circle, and you're in public. Hey, you can be yourself. Whether
when Colton's interacting with you, you take advantage of that.
Right?
Look, parts, you embrace it.
Right?
Embrace it and go with it, because.
Right, they show no emotions. Hard, like what? Right. Any mom I know, because I could relate Carrie, because when my son let me sing to him, and I know I can't sing. Yeah, I look. I will cherish that moment for the rest of my life. Like, wow, I've been waiting on that day for a long time, because my son does not. The only one he showed much emotion to was my nanny, and then some to my mom. And now he's starting to, and it's for him to let me sing to him, I was like, oh. I told my son, I'm sorry for my singing. He said, it's okay, Mom. And for my son to call me Mom, I
was just wanting to tell you that the whole show. Colton never called me Mom till this last year.
Yeah, and they look down upon that, and that was something that they said, and they disciplined me for that, because they were telling the aunt that's helping me, the one that's helped me get him home, that why does he call me Danielle? I said, she's like, because he's been around adults most of his life, and that's all whatever he hears. I mean, and plus his nanny was his role model. So if she's going to call Danielle, my son's going to
because no one else called you Mom if he was your only child around you.
Right.
So and referred you as Mom, it would have been different.
Right, and also with my nanny, that was, he did everything. If nanny walked a certain way, he's gonna walk a certain that. They were 2 peas in a pod. They were inseparable. My son has a story, y'all. My son has a story, and he's gonna have a story.
We get to hear it soon. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's gonna be awesome when he comes home.
I want to.
You guys realize that he is coming home?
That's any day now. Any day now. Any day now. It should be before Christmas, definitely. He better be home before Christmas. I better be hugging that boy right beside the tree. And that's another thing. Are they trying to hold him just until the end of the month so they can make sure to get them funds? Like, what's
Or at
up?
least till the first, so they get next month.
Right.
I mean, I
So,
don't know how it comes in. I really don't. But
and
I mean, I
the
know I get
daycare,
a disability check on the first, so why
when
wouldn't they?
I pulled the data, like on the Child Welfare Information Gateway for Georgia, right? And you know
Right.
how it has the numbers of the kids that are still in foster care, kids that are placed, like,
Right,
and
the
then
stats.
then it breaks it down to what's their stats, like where they at, where were they placed, how many have been reunified, and it keeps going. Well, when you go to the part my son's at, it's like 1%, and it hurts
Jesus.
knowing that my son was that 1%. That one is my son. And
What do you mean
just
1% that gets taken into RTFs, or 1%
that's
that
sent out of states, like just in
out of state
Georgia,
one?
my son, out of the whole state of Georgia, of kids that are in a current like situation and that were sent out of
Right.
state, like, that's my son. That 1% that's at the end of that little top like area,
Right.
it's 1%. It's one, and that is my son. So out of,
Do you
and
feel
I
like his age had something to do with that? Do you feel like that's why, because of his age?
no, I just think that it was out of just trying to keep him away from me, because they were, there's things it'll yeah. I don't want to say
Corruption.
shoot. Yes, this is all my look. This is what the funds. In my case, the funds that were used for my son. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was useless. And it useless at me, like, okay, well, it was used for my son. Okay, my son was cared for. And I think everyone that does. I don't want to be a smart aleck when I say this, and I don't want it to come off smart aleck, but they have a fiduciary duty to the taxpayers. Well, I thank you for helping take care of my son during this hard time, everybody. I do.
Right.
Because that's what it is. The taxpayers
But
are
it didn't
paying
go to
for
him. Who bought his shoes last week? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't need to throw your business out there, but
no, it's fine. It's fine. Look, no, you're okay. I mean, and my son didn't. I mean, and yes, I've had to raise Cain to get him haircuts, and I mean, my son, I have visits that I can show you that he's like, what is wrong? Where's your, and it, what? My son is not going to be. He's not just there, and that's why these residential treatment facilities or these group homes where they just take these special needs children and just put them in these facilities and lock them away forever. No. They should be able to have a life too, and communicate with the outside world. I am sorry, and I'll be darned if my kid or any other child is going to be done that way. And I promise I will take this up to the top of because this is kids that are special needs and older, and even aging out of foster care. That and these RTFs. That's where my heart is. That's where the whole system is where these kids in general, but my heart is on them, because they get. I mean, you're like, just imagine a child that turns 14 and just because they're acting out, their parents just, and there are kids like that. And I've talked to several of them.
That was me. That was me when I was 14.
That are like, and just because and there are kids done that way, and that's what makes me upset with these parents. Like, there's a group called Special Needs Parents of Georgia, and this whole group on Facebook, they talk about how they can find to the state to get custody of their kids. Here I am, what? Like, whoa, what's up, parents? What's up? Like, why are you wanting just your kid? And and I could, it's crazy. Like, I mean, what? So you can live your life?
Like the parents I referred to earlier with the house all tore up because of the kid tearing it up. I can kind of see where they were coming from.
I can understand that.
They were
just
worried
to get out of
about
being a parent. That's what there's parents out there that try to do that. I can understand, but there are resources. You just got to do, it's not like it's going to be handed right in your hand. You have to search for this. There are resources, but it's so hard to get them. Like, what?
Right.
I mean, and people ask me, they're like, Danielle, how is it so easy for you to get your parent or your family to help? Well, you know what? Back over a decade ago, they had heart and they wanted the kids, and that's how much has changed in over a decade in this child welfare system. Like, the judge left it up to me and my family to decide when I got out, released from my incarceration time, if I was going to be like visiting, being involved, and we did. It was smooth running until my mom died and passed on in 2022, and that the whole reason why I asked my family for help was to keep my kids out of the state's hands, to avoid all, and that's what, and they did prevent foster care because my kids never ended up in the system until, and that was, so makes you also, right, and it makes you also think about this is even family that I trusted, but my girls, I had 2 girls, and people I had 3 kids, not just one. But why but the girls are with the guardians still. Like, they're still able to go to school and everything. Why was my son, what? By the guardian that's over my daughter did this to my son. It was all because she wanted me out of the picture. I can, yeah.
She probably figured if she threw you one bone, that you would take it and go and move on.
No,
and
if I ain't moved on yet,
that bone and protect it, and like a dog.
I wasn't going nowhere, because if I ain't got nowhere by now, I ain't going nowhere.
Right.
But what it is she didn't want me to have it. The feeling I have, and maybe I'll never get my answer, is it's my daughter. It all boils down to my kids. I asked for help.
Your daughter, yeah.
And she, and this is a family member that, she did lose her child to because she made bad decisions, and she was choosing things that she shouldn't, instead of her taking care of her child, and her ex took the child, and the father ended up getting custody of the child. So that's what I'm, maybe it's a mommy, I don't know, but she just did not want me to have any. She was doing anything in her power, it's not like it's a well, like I said, the story, it'll come out. I'm gonna make I will have a documentary. But that's because my son, I was even gonna have a little saying for him. He said, "That's so cool," and I'm like, you say that's so cool to everything, some stuff, son. And then
we talk about Alex more because we want to promote him. We want to promote his wanting to be a movie star, and him wanting
just
to
not
expose.
Al Beasy. Just not.
Yeah. You guys really. He's not really AKA Al Beasy, but he would prefer to be called that.
That's what these places.
We call him BZ.
Yeah, there you go. Like the car, like the Toyota car. I can't believe that. Like when you, I'm like, they took his name. No, but no. If y'all, maybe on the next show we'll talk about this whole Al Beasy thing, because it's something that that has came up since he's been in the CPS system and at this facility.
And it's not a transgender thing. It's not a wanting to be a different person or identifying as something. It's just
something nickname. But it's also who it pertains to, and what it pertains to is not something that should be introduced in a place like this around these.
It's a rapper, you guys. It's a ghetto rap, right? It's
talks, explicit talk videos.
Right.
Like, it's just something that I would never think that they would have. Right.
But also, age, he is going to get exposed to things like this, Danielle. You can't shelter him forever.
That's fine, but not in a facility like that. I'm sorry.
Right. That's the point that we're trying to make there.
They have kids 6 to 17 out there. What are we going to... Okay, I can understand that the older kids, okay, yeah,
You let my 6-year-old listen to that, and somebody else let him listen to that besides me? I listen to old rap, and I listen to Dr. Dre, 50, and Tupac, all that.
My mom found out, and if I was still young, and my mom, look, kids under the age of 14, 13, 12, they don't need to be, and especially introduced by these people that they have to stay in these facilities 24/7, and that's what my son likes Christian music. He likes Mercy Me, I Can Only Imagine, Big Daddy Weave and you would think that that's a rapper. No, that's a Christian guy, right. That and his song I Know, that song reminds my son of his nanny. He likes Bob Marley. He likes Lenny Kravitz. Lean on Me. I think I got that.
That's
right.
some old music. That's good. That's cool.
Oh yeah, look, he's got an old school heart. Let me tell you. Oh yes,
that's awesome.
And Cole Swindell, Luke Combs, not Luke Bryan, Luke Combs, and Luke Combs is old school, and that is my boy.
I'm not talking about whatever Sean Combs or whatever the hell his name is.
P Diddy, no. Sean Combs, no. He looks. My son is a totally.
Is that his real name?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So I guess. So I guess we can. Are we? Is it the time to? Are we over? I wasn't even looking at the time.
Yeah, we're over. We're over like 16.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay because I enjoyed it. It's okay.
Yeah, it was good.
All right,
we always
guys,
have good talks. You guys, we talk like this when we're not online. I mean, look, we're online too, but when we're not on the.
It's like I probably make some of the funniest faces, especially when I'm lagging. Like I'm like I look down and it's like I'm like, oh geez, but it's okay because it's helping me and we're helping each other. So
right.
And we are gonna get this like we say we're gonna be unstoppable. We're gonna pack it up and we are gonna get this like we gotta bring it to the light, everybody. So let's help these other parents start talking about it, exposing these, because the more exposure, the better, right. And the more that they're listening. Don't think they're not, everyone. They are listening. Trust me. If y'all, I mean, I can tell you right now, and then after this, I promise I will hush. But when I came out with the Georgia Hidden Scarlet Letter, and I just threw it out there on like Facebook, and I just put and I would talk about it because I was very involved in the social media world when and John Ossoff, I was also involved in with his subcommittee. They were doing when he had that big investigation. Well, now, and I was talking about if you go read about Georgia Hidden Scarlet Letter, and that's the song, they hide stuff, and right. And so now with John Ossoff and a senator from Texas, which is both states I'm dealing with, Foster Care Transparency Act, because of the hidden stigma that they are saying and hiding from the public about the foster care and the stuff that they are not telling. And now, and then next thing you know, here comes, and I was like, okay, that was my sign right there that they are listening. So let's keep talking, keep telling the story. They are listening. So the foster, and then we'll talk about Foster Care Transparency Act on a later show. But I just thought that was cool because here it is. I'm talking about the Georgia's Hidden Scarlet Letter, and I'm like, oh, maybe the song, maybe the poem, maybe they'll read it. And LinkedIn, and I'll talk about that story on a later show because that'll interest people too, because it was a caseworker, and I'm going to ask her if I can talk about it. Yes, and this was in another state as well, and how we linked up was in LinkedIn, and I'll talk about her.
Yeah, that's
later
incredible. That connection is absolutely. That'd be cool to have her on because she.
I'll ask her because she's a caseworker, and her goal she is a social worker, and I know automatically that they're labeled, but what she told me, she's because I posted my poem online. She said, Danielle, she said I want to be the one that tells the parents what these other caseworkers, the ones that they're not being told, instead of on a wild goose chase that these and she explained right there that what I've been saying, that these caseworkers are supposed to be like your best friend. They should be helping be the resource for you to get back to being able to strengthen the areas that you fall weak in, that brought them into your world, and she said that's what these caseworkers are failing. She said she's wanting to be the one to help guide and tell these parents what their caseworkers aren't, and she's pretty cool. And And because she's in another state, but I'm gonna talk to her and see if, I've when she told me that, I was like, wow, that really, because that is true. Like in my situation with my caseworker, there was a lot I wasn't told, and I was clueless, and I'm sure a bunch of everyone else was as well. And
I feel
that's
every
where
one of us is. Definitely.
Yep.
Always
and
let them
she
know.
and that's good to see now that there are some caseworkers that are aware of that, and they are taking the steps too. But one person, it's, and that's what she's saying. She said, but keep talking, keep speaking. And she said, and I'm gonna ask her to come on the show with no, I'm just, even if, I'm gonna ask her, because I haven't talked to her in a minute. But I just thought that was pretty cool that she said that to me. Like, because
Right.
so they are aware that there are these caseworkers that aren't telling, and maybe that is what needs to be looked into by the when they change this. That why aren't they saying it? That's what, and that's what she's saying. They're not. So keep speaking. So she's telling, keep voicing, voices be heard, voices of hope. You need to be heard. Voice it. Don't hold it in. You're
Right.
thinking about it. You're protecting our kids, our future. So, all right. So we're gonna close out the show, everybody. Any last words? And then we're gonna crank up the song.
Never give up. Never give up, and watch the show tonight with Thomas Paine is coming back on the Late Show.
Oh yeah,
and on the Tiffany and Punisher show tonight.
He's got a story, yes, and he's got.
Oh my God, his story is crazy, isn't it?
And just so far, just the little we've heard, and there's much more. So come join. Definitely, y'all will be. It's very interesting, and it's nationwide, guys, nationwide. I mean, and this is stuff just since like 2020. That's what's just in the last 5 years, and last words, right? That's what we're doing. Okay, sorry.
Yep. Never give up. That went.
Well, never give up. Pack it up, and let's keep fighting. Make it happen. Let's voices be heard, and let's bring this stuff to the light. All right, everyone. Absolutely. Join in the Tiff and the Punisher show tonight at 7 and
6.
The other 6, and then the other. All right.
Have a good Central Time too, guys. Sorry.
I said I'd have that. All right, everyone. We'll see you. And tomorrow at 3 Eastern time for this show. All right. Yes. All right, y'all. See y'all later. Y'all have a good day. Keep fighting. Bye, everyone.
I see pieces send them far and wide, across the borders where they divide. Families waiting with open arms to shield them from all worldly harm. Through the bridges of Georgia's care, they're reaching out but life ain't fair. Isolation's heavy on their hearts, praying for a brand new start. Child protectors on the line, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Oh, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Though the journey's tough, the road is long, singing out this hopeful song. Every child deserves a chance to find their home, their love, their dance. No more darkness, no more tears, just a future free from fears. With each step they grow so strong, in a place where they belong. Through the bridges of Georgia's care, they're reaching out but life ain't fair. Isolation's heavy on their hearts, praying for a brand new start. Child protectors on the line, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Love shine. Oh, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Love shine. Oh, Georgia's foster, let love shine. Though the journey's tough, the road is long, in this world they'll start to glow. Child protective, hear their plea. In Georgia's arms they will be free. Through the bridges of Georgia's care, they're reaching out but life ain't fair. Isolation's heavy on their hearts, praying for a brand new start. Child protectors on the line, Georgia's Don't just foster, let love shine. Let love shine. Oh, don't just foster, let love shine. Love shine. Oh, don't just foster,